So welcome everybody to this workshop. I'm going to be doing a workshop for you online. This is a workshop that I take out to groups, but I'm going to put it online so that people can really understand about the journey to abundance, and anxiety doesn't have to be part of your life. There's a way in which you can absolutely get rid of that anxiety and learn where that came from. So welcome to everybody. I hope you enjoy this. So my name's Marcus Matthews. I'm a rapid transformational therapist. I just want to tell you that anybody that's watching this, you can have the most amazing life, because I truly believe that everyone should have that fulfilled and happy life. And once you remove those feelings you attach to the stories you tell yourself every day, I can help in just one session, just 2 hours. We can start to hack away at that anxiety and really release you from that weight that's dragging you down. So let's have a quick overview about what it is that we're going to talk about. So remember, this is something that I did not online. This is something that I've done out in groups. So some of this might be pertinent, some of it might not be. So we're just going to do a quick look into this, health and safety, what you can get out of this bit of a workshop, this bit of a masterclass, what you're being told about anxiety, depression, PTSD. And what does it mean to you? We're going to put a little bit of a task in there. So you'll be able to pause this video, go and do the task, have a break. And then we're going to go into disrupting all that you've been told, and that anxiety comes down to survival. There's going to be another exercise in there about your power, how you can release that power, and the power of the words I am enough. Now, in regards to rapid transformational therapy, I am enough was coined by my mentor, Marissa Peer. And it is all about having those positive words and knowing that you are absolutely enough. We're going to look at the freedom equation, and then I'm going to look at what the next steps are, and, you know, post some questions in and let's have a review of what's gone on. Okay, so let's go on. So what do you want out of this workshop? Well, let's face it, life is offering us lots of things. And this video has been recorded during the COVID crisis. So, you know, there's loads of places online that you can go to, and the NHS has got some amazing resources out there, and so has Mind. So you can go online, you can check everything out, but it's not really going to help you in regards to breaking that feeling around anxiety. So what is anxiety? And what methods are you told to use? Well, the NHS use something called the NICE guidelines. That's the National Institute for Clinical Excellence. And these are the quality standards that cover how we identify and manage anxiety orders. So they're basically the labels that we're given that tell us what anxiety is, what social anxiety is, what PTSD or post-traumatic stress disorder is, panic disorders, obsessive compulsive disorders, you name it, it's all on there. But one of the things with this is that once we're given this label, it becomes who we are. Generally, most people for anxiety will be told to go for talking therapy or CBT. So CBT is cognitive behavioral therapy, and this is about how you manage the way that you behave. Now, it's the most common practice presently in the UK that's used for treating anxiety and depression, and it really works based on the concept of your thoughts, your feelings, and physical sensations and actions are all interconnected, which is absolutely true. And it aims to help you deal with those overwhelming problems and show you how to change these negative patterns. Now, unlike some talking treatments, CBT deals with your current problems rather than focus on issues from your past. It looks at practical ways to improve your state of mind on a daily basis. Now, this is great, but I'm going to talk to you a little bit about why CBT often doesn't work for people. So what is anxiety, lack of confidence, depression? What does it mean to you? Now, I want you to pause this video and I want you to really think about not situations per se, but have a think about how it makes you feel. One of the things that we often look at when we're looking at anxiety is, what is it that causes those issues? How can we avoid them? How can we manage them? Not very often do we talk about how it makes us feel. So take about 10 minutes, get a piece of paper and just look at how that might work. Just pause this video, think about how you feel. What is it that happens? Where do you feel that in your body? So pause the video now, take some time, and then go and write that down. Really go through that process of how that makes you feel. Okay, Welcome back. How difficult was it? Did it help? Could you get that thoughts and feelings onto paper? It really doesn't matter if you couldn't, but actually this is one of the reasons why rapid transformational therapy is so effective. And it's so effective because many people go, well, I don't know why I feel the way that I do. I just know that I get this feeling, or this is the trigger. This is where I believe it came from. So if you want to take a break, you can, but we're going to skip on anyway. Okay, disrupting all you've been told. I'm going to give you a little bit of background really on why what you're being told isn't necessarily the best advice. Now, I am at no point going to say that anything that the NHS is doing, anything that any other clinicians, practitioners, or anybody else is doing. So I just want to put that from a health and safety point of view. I just want to say that if you're on medication, please don't stop doing it. If you want to look into what we do with rapid transformational therapy, I would always say getting clinical advice. But what I want to do is I want to give you a little bit of a difference on why there may be a better way. So I want you to imagine now, that the problem that you've got with your anxiety, your self-esteem, your confidence, depression, whatever it is a wall that's in front of you, and there's a sign. And when you've been for help, if you haven't been for help, or if people are giving you advice, imagine that the instructions that they're telling you are on that sign, and they're saying, well, all you need to do is just chill out. All you need to do is go for a walk. All you need to do is relax. All you need to do is meditate. All you need to do. And all the instructions are on the wall, but on the sign, but it's still not helping you jump over that wall, and it's becoming a cycle that it makes your anxiety worse. So that is me, and that is my mentor, Marissa Peer. So some of the content that's in here is going to be her trademark. It's going to be her method. So I'm a rapid transformational therapist. I've worked with the amazing Marissa Peer, who is celebrity therapist to the stars. And what I want to go through now is why things often don't work permanently. So we might have coping mechanisms, or maybe your anxiety is caused at work. So when you're not at work, everything's fine. But when you're in work, you get this anxiety. The fact is, you weren't born with anxiety, but you were born with a negative mind. So why is that? Well, often life looks a little bit like this. When we're born, we're told that we must go on this path. So when we're born, maybe, let's take, for example, we're born into a really, really lovely home. There are no issues. So when you're born, everybody loves you. You've been in your mum's belly. It's been nice and warm. You've had everything on room service. You've not had to think about anything. And then when you're born, people will cuddle you. They'll love you. Even when you poo your nappy, people might find it funny. But if you did that as an adult, or say, for example, you're learning to walk and you fall over, but if you do that as an adult, people will laugh at you. So in our formative years, up to probably the age of 2 or 3, we can get away with things. We can get away with not failing. But after that, we start to get judged. And we start to get pushed into a process of what success looks like, what our life should look like. And it looks a little bit like this. We're a baby, we grow up, we then go to school, and we're looking at going through exams. And these exams will tell us where we fit in the world. They'll tell us the career path that we might want to take. And we're told that we should go through this process because it'll give us the money, it'll give us the abundance that we can have to then finally maybe get a pension and start to enjoy life. And throughout our lives, we constantly may be under stress, dependent on our support structure, dependent on environment. We then become stressed, we can become anxious. Success is measured of nothing else in our lives, of our economic value, not about what we bring as people, what our purpose, what our why is. Many times we will follow the path of what others tell us. And those feelings that we create as a child often come in with us as we go into adulthood. And this is principally survival. Your subconscious mind, the most powerful part of your body, is there to keep you alive. And we're tribal. We want to make connection, avoid rejection. So when we're told to do something, when we're told this is the way to do it, we do it because if we don't fit in, if we don't follow the tribal values, our subconscious mind believes that we're going to die. It's still quite primitive. The amygdala is 75% negative, and that's your reptilian brain. So this is where anxiety comes in. It's really a warning marker. Anxiety, these feelings that we have, are actually good for us, because what they're telling us is that if you continue down this path, if you don't change, you might die. But we often read the signals wrong. We believe that we need to conform. We believe that we need to be part of that tribe. So our physical environment, the people around us, they're the issue, aren't they? They're the ones that are saying, oh, you need to do this, you need to do that. And when you can't do it, you feel worthless, you feel helpless. Well, this is not necessarily true. Let's see what the reality really is. These are the basic rules of the mind, and these have been taken from my mentor, Marissa Peer. But let's just look at these top 8. So your mind is there to keep you alive, not happy. Your subconscious mind, the thing, that inner child, that voice that talks to you, the thing that creates all the feelings, is there to keep you alive. We do need to make connection and avoid rejection. And I do apologize, I've got the window open here and you can probably hear some noise outside, so I hope you can hear this. So we need to make connection, we need to avoid rejection. And that's where our tribal values come from. And we're absolutely programmed to think the worst will happen. This is our primeval brain. So it's all about survival. In essence, we create our reality on what we perceive to be the truth of our life from the day we were born. And these thoughts, these feelings are installed in us. So if you imagine that you as a person, when you're first born, you're an operating system, and we install the programs that we're told to install to run our lives from everybody that's around us. And our mind absolutely believes whatever we tell it. So if we believe that those are the right programs to run, they will absolutely run. It doesn't know the past, it doesn't know the future, it just tells you exactly what it is you tell it. So if you say, oh, I'm not good enough, if you tell it, oh, I'm different, I just don't fit in, if you tell it that's not available to me, absolutely that's what you'll get back. And our cultures are built on this. Our religions, our politics are all built on this conformity. They're all built on this. If you don't conform to this particular rationale, if you don't follow this particular way of doing things, you're not going to fit in. So if you imagine that your life when you're first born is like a muddy field, and it's barren, and maybe if you're from a poor background, that soil might not be that fertile to grow those amazing abundant flowers, but perfect for growing weeds. But maybe if you're from a richer background and you've got a bit of abundance, you've got money, you've got security, then maybe that soil's a little bit more loamy. But what will happen is throughout your life, people will come in and plant weeds and seeds. So lessons that don't serve you, thoughts that don't serve you, and thoughts and feelings that will serve you. So those flowers in your life. Now, if we create more weeds than seeds, this is what happens. Our garden becomes unkempt. We don't like it. It's not abundant. So let's move on and just have a look at this. There's an amazing guy called Bob Proctor, and there's a book that I would absolutely recommend to you. It's called Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. And many people think about abundance as being money, but it's not. Abundance is about things that serve you. Now, I'm not going to do the magnet exercise in here. This is just something to show you how powerful you are. But hypnosis, one of the things in Think and Grow Rich is about making sure that the feelings that you have absolutely match with your thoughts. And it talks a lot about automation. So affirmations are about, if you say the same thing over and over and over, it'll become your reality. Now, why doesn't this work for people? Well, often affirmations, like many things, are just like throwing seeds on the soil. And maybe we need to do a little bit of work on that soil to make sure that those seeds can really embed in. And that's where the power of RTT comes in. It's a way in which we can dig all of those weeds, the roots from those weeds up, and then we can then reseed that place that's not so abundant with really abundant seeds, and you can start to grow an amazing garden in your life. So let's forget the exercise with the magnets. That's something that I would normally do when I do this with groups. But if anybody wants to know what that's all about, then please message me and maybe we can do a bit of a group task on this. So let's move on. So one of the things that I've put on here, although we haven't done the magnet test, is when we envisage something in our mind, we can often make it work in our lives. And this is about law of attraction. So I'll just talk you through what the magnet test is. So the magnet test is something that we use in rapid transformational therapy for what we call the deepening. So we put you into hypnosis. And what happens is you imagine the magnets on the inside of your hands. And what happens is your hands will come together because you're suggesting it in your mind, it's created in your reality. Now, I'm going to give you an example of that with anxiety and how that works. If you're creating pictures, feelings in your head that something bad is going to happen, it's going to induce a feeling in your body, maybe in your throat, in your stomach, in your heart. And this is where the power actually comes of rapid transformational therapy and the power of your mind. Because if you change that, instead of being a negative thought to a happy thought, then you can change the sensations and feelings in your body. Let me give you an example. When somebody becomes anxious, often they will get a feeling in their stomach. It's like a fuzzy feeling. It's, you deem it as being uncomfortable. But think back to when you were a child. Think about when it was Christmas Eve, and you were waiting for those presents from Father Christmas or Santa, and you'd have that same funny feeling. Maybe think about when you're going on a roller coaster, you actually like roller coasters, that tension just before something happens, you get that same feeling. The only difference is the story that you connect to that feeling is completely different. So what we're doing when we do the magnet test is we're saying that although there might not be any magnets on your hand, you can still create that effect. So let's move on. The whole point of this is this quote from Oprah Winfrey here is you become what you believe. You are where you are today in your life based on everything that you have believed. So how do we change that? How do we change that feeling, that belief that maybe you're not good enough? We need to get to the root cause of the problem. But the thing that's stopping many people from doing that is fear. My coach, Joanna Bullock, often says about putting faith over fear. And the first thing you need to do is to say, okay, I know I can change this. You don't need to know how. That's why I'm here. That's what I do. I help people. But you need to break through that fear of actually saying, I'm going to fix this. Because once you've made that mind up to say, I no longer want to be anxious, I no longer want to feel like this, there is a different way. There is somewhere that I can go to help this. And I'm going to be accountable and take action to myself. But the most important thing is choice. You've got to choose, do I want to stay where I am? Do I want to stay anxious? Do I want to stay not having confidence? Do I want to stay smoking? Do I want to stay fat? Do I want to stay not being able to get on that plane because I have a phobia about it? You have a choice to actually trust that you already have the answers and go and get those answers and come to somebody like me and stop putting coping mechanisms in place and actually stepping up and being responsible for moving forward. So, why are you living with those feelings? I'm not good enough. I'm different. That's not available to me. When it comes to anxiety, depression, confidence, these are many of the things that we tell ourselves, oh, I'm not good enough for that. I'm different. I didn't have the upbringing that person had. I didn't have the money that person had. That's not available to me. People like me can't achieve that. Well, there's plenty of people in the world that have been able to do that. There are plenty of people in the world that have gone, actually, I'm not going to accept that. I want to find out why I feel the way that I do. I'm going to change my life and I'm going to do it right now. So let's look at a little bit of an equation here, the freedom equation. I just want to tell you that just know that the stories that you tell yourself are only true if you believe them. You have the power to change those stories at any time, and you can change that story. You can change the feeling you attach to that story. You can refuse not to label yourself of having anxiety, PTSD, whatever label you've been given, you can break through the fear. You can move forward if you take action, stop blaming others, be accountable and take responsibility, and move forward. Choose to move forward, and that you can trust yourselves and others, and you absolutely can move forward into your brilliant future. So in the original exercise that you might have done, okay, I want you to re-look at that, and I want you to look at everything that you've told yourself, the thoughts, the feelings, the causes and the outcomes, and then I want you to reword whatever you said and see how you feel about that. So what are the thoughts? What are the feelings? What are the causes? What are the outcomes? Just start that exercise again. What is it? What are the triggers to your anxiety? Are you saying, well, the reason why I feel like this is because this happened in the past? Are you saying, because I think this, my future is going to be this? And really think, is that true? How do I change that? And ask yourself, how can you change those feelings? And is there a way in which you can do it? Where did they come from? How did they manifest? And what is the reason why you can't change it? So just pause the video and just go back to those thoughts and feelings and think about the thoughts and the feelings. Are they true? Can you change them? What are the causes? What are the outcomes? So we've got a bit of noise in the background again there. Sorry about that. So just have a think about that. Just take your time. So I'm going to tell you the best way to do it. I want you to close your eyes, and I want you to take some deep breaths in and out. Just take about 3 breaths. And then I want you to take your pen and paper, and I want you to just write whatever comes into your head. And then I want you to reread that. I want you to reread what it is that you've written down. And then I want you to be a critical friend, a best friend to yourself. So if you're saying to yourself, oh, I'm ugly, I'm stupid, I'm pathetic, I want you to rewrite it and say something like, do you know what, I'm absolutely beautiful. I love the way that I am at the moment. And do you know what, I have my own intelligence. I am actually quite clever. I can do this. And look at all the positives in your life. And once you've done that, I want you to then take all those negative beliefs and say, I'm giving away any thoughts that I am ugly, because people who tell me that I'm ugly, well, that's just their opinion. That's not what I believe of myself. And when you do this exercise and you start to do that over and over, maybe look in the mirror and have that conversation with yourself. It may be tough at first, but as you start to reframe these phrases, reframe these words, you'll find that your mind will start to change and your body will actually start to react to these positive suggestions. So take some time now, have a go at this exercise, and try and cross off now what isn't true and change those words into something a little bit more positive. So with this exercise that you've done, you can choose, these are the kind of positive words that you can use. I'm a winner, I'm disciplined, I'm talented, I'm a leader, I'm brave, I'm optimistic, I'm thoughtful, I'm honest, I'm gifted, I never give up. Because I want you to imagine that a beautiful flower, and when we see a beautiful flower, think, oh, that's amazing, that's beautiful. Maybe we see a successful person, go, oh my God, how did they manage to do that? And a lot of the time when we see success, we only see the tip of the iceberg. What we don't see is the pain that happened underneath. And if you think of that life as a seed, the first thing that happens is that the seed will drop from the tree, and let's say it's a fruit, let's say it's an apple tree, and the apple drops from the tree into the ground, and it starts to decay and rot. And it needs to decay and rot because the flesh is going to allow that seed to grow. So let's just imagine we've got a rotten apple. So your life is a rotten apple. It's disgusting. You don't like it, but there's a seed inside there. And all you need to do is use these amazing words, and it'll fertilize that seed. It'll help that seed grow. And the first thing that happens with that seed is it'll crack, and that's quite painful maybe for the seed. It's a little bit like a muscle. If you're building muscle, you have to tear the muscle. Every time you tear that muscle, it's going to grow, it's going to become stronger. So I want you to imagine the journey of that seedling as that seed opens up and cracks, and there's that little puny, weak seed is going to come out, and it needs to push itself through the darkness. It doesn't know how it's going to get there, but it's determined. It's going to use faith over fear, and it's going to push itself through the dark soil. And even when it pushes itself through the dark soil, maybe the first time it pokes its head through the soil, it's sunny and it feels that warm sun. But maybe it's actually blowing a force 9 gale and it's raining, and that seedling's going to get battered. But as it gets battered and weathers the storm, it becomes stronger. And as it becomes stronger and it takes the rain, it takes the wind, it takes the sun, it takes all of the elements in its environment around it, as long as it's being nurtured. So maybe we're going to put a little cowl around that seedling. We're going to give it some support. We're going to give it some structure to allow it to grow. Maybe we'll put a stake next to it and tie it up so it doesn't get battered all over the place. So that's what I do as a therapist. I give you that support. I give you that strength. I give you the ideas to allow you to nurture your seedling to grow. And as that seedling grows, we can then take all of that away. We can take all those coping mechanisms away, because you start to learn to weather the storm yourself. And remember, what then will happen is that we'll go through seasons. We'll go through winter, we'll go through spring, we'll go through summer, we'll go through autumn or fall, and we'll go through these seasons. So it's not a linear path, this growth. It's not linear, but with the right support, you become strengthened. As we create those amazing affirmations, we start to feed that growth. And then remember, the last things to ever happen are the flowers to bloom and then the fruit to grow. So just take that analogy and understand that you don't have to get it right first time. You've got to weather the storm. But what you do have to do is you have to make that decision that you're going to do that, and you're going to get help. You're going to get the support that you need, because it is absolutely there. And you are able to have that amazing, beautiful flower, that amazing, beautiful, abundant tree that's going to grow the fruits of your life. So what's stopping you? What's stopping you from doing that? How can I help you on your journey? Maybe you want to, if you're watching this on YouTube, maybe if you're watching this on Facebook, you want to pop some comments in there. You want to pop some questions in there. But one thing I do know is that when I personally went through my own journey, things didn't start changing until I got the help. Rapid Transformational Therapy really helped me to understand why I felt the way that I did, and that those stories and feelings were absolutely untrue. And that is why I believe that everyone should live a fulfilled and happy life. But you can only do that once you remove the feelings, those toxic feelings you attach to the stories you tell yourself every day. But the beauty of Rapid Transformational Therapy is in that in one session, 2 to 3 hours, and certainly no more than 3 sessions, I can help you achieve what many therapists, coaches, doctors fail to do in a lifetime. And the reason for that is that when we understand and we change that soil that seed is growing in, when we understand and remove all of that toxicity that may have served you as a small child or a young adult, and when we remove that and we teach you how to use your amazing, brilliant mind, your life does start to change. So if you want to book a discovery call, you can go to booking.makeyourlifecount.co.uk and you can get a free discovery call. I do taster sessions. You can even pop over to my website, makeyourlifecount.co.uk, or join my Facebook group. Now, my Facebook group, I've got a new Facebook group now. So Make Your Life Count is my public Facebook group. So facebook.com/Make Your Life Count UK is my normal Facebook group. But I've also got a coaching group now, which is facebook.com/groups/finding your power. So pop yourself over. I've even got a podcast, talkingminds.co.uk. You can follow me on Twitter, Leaders Ask Why, and on Instagram, which is instagram.com/makeyourlifecount.co.uk. And I'm even on LinkedIn if you're a business person. So why not get in touch and let me show you how you can break through anxiety and how you can live that amazing, abundant life that you've always wanted.